with that said, let's actually hop into some manga talk. Let's talk about this new series, Neru. Zach, why don't you break it down? You're a lot better than me breaking stuff down, because I'll be honest with you guys, this series, reading the first chapter, it didn't stick with me super well. It didn't resonate with me really well. I read the whole thing. I thought it was okay. I don't know. It could have potential. We'll see. But Zach, why don't you talk about, break it down a little bit?
I mean, so we have Neru, Way of the Martial Artist. First chapter is more or less just introducing us to our character.
Right.
Not even introducing us really to the world, just the character himself. Some kid whose grandpa was really into martial arts, was really attached to his grandpa, so learned martial arts from him. Goes from him and his grandpa to him at school. He's a middle schooler from what I got. And yeah, pretty much he's not great at a whole lot of things, but he's really into martial arts and training.
Right.
He has a close friend. He keeps wanting to spar with him, but he keeps refusing. But drags him along when he finds a pretty older girl who he thinks in danger. Tells his buddy, "Go help him. Go help her." Why? Because they're harassing her. You sure? I mean, yeah. And we get to talk to a high school girl. And then he's just real skeptical until he sees the guy pull something out. And he's like, "Oh no!" Jumps in, helps her, runs the guys off, drops his nice tattered book that she takes note of, and just goes, "Is this your friends? What is this?" It's like, man, he's going to be real worried about that once he realizes that's gone. And more or less, his friend and this girl have an interaction. They go to a cafe and talk. She's real interested in this guy who's into martial arts. Our MC finally realizes it's missing, and straight up on the side of the riverbank, searches his bag, searches his pants, takes off his clothes into his underwear to search for his missing book.
Literally everything. He stripped down to damn near nothing.
Yes.
Down to the loincloth.
Yes.
Only to go, well, okay. Gets sort of depressed, goes walking about, and goes back to his home where it's night now, and she's waiting there to deliver the book because I assume she got the information out of his friend of where he lives. And he's out there training. And this is just some tattered martial arts book he's been writing in. She's walking around this residence unannounced because apparently nobody lives there, and sees all these drawings from the books carved into rocks, carved into walls, carved into the ground, carved into pretty much everything.
Just obsessed.
Yes. Only to find him out in the bamboo fields next to a pond trying to redraw from his memory the picture of the guy and everything, only to her show up. All right, she found the shed with the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And took a mask to put it on and to fight our MC. Because apparently our MC can't learn just from reading, so he has to reenact the stories. And they fight and reenact a story. Because apparently Kid's grandpa saved her when she was lost and told her this same story. So they proceed to fight and tell the story at the same time. And pretty much fight. She respects him, he loses, and all that fun stuff. And she's just like, cool, you're going to come with me. We're going to go somewhere. And the next morning they wake up and she takes them to what I can only assume is a hidden martial arts school where there's about to be a throwdown between the katana users and the spear users.
Which then gets him like super horny for this because he's like, oh boy, more people like me, let's go. You know, where they're just obsessed with fighting. I mean, like I said, I thought it was okay. I do think there is potential. This didn't really resonate with me super well, and I don't. Maybe it's just because of like how good Red Hood was, you know, for the first chapter, where I was just like, how I was just riding on such a massive high. I mean, he gave chapter 1 a 9, you know, and then got this. I mean, it was all right. I mean, I'd say a weak first chapter, but can it improve?
Yeah.
Yes, we saw Elusive Samurai.
So it's crazy. I, a lot of times get bored with chapters, especially first chapters, because they're super long, and if they don't keep my attention, I'm not going to finish. I actually read all of this one, and I don't know, it didn't keep my attention enough. Like there are some things like, this kid was totally off the grid. He doesn't have TV, internet, whatever. His friend mentions that. He trains all the time, and then from what I understood from the drawings, is his grandpa couldn't write. So he put down all the martial arts moves as the movements that you need to make to do them, which is why he's so obsessed with drawing them and they're drawn everywhere is because he's practicing the movements by drawing them, which is a kind of interesting concept. But I mean, other than that, this chapter did kind of fall flat for me. I don't know. I'll give the second chapter a shot, but I don't know if this is something that's going to stick for me.
What about you, Zach?
I mean, I'm sort of on the fence at the moment. I mean, it's a martial arts series. Martial arts series usually don't have a strong opening from the ones that I've read and watched.
Mm-hmm.
Usually takes a bit of more setting building for me to really get a feel for it. So depending on where they go with this whole dojo fight thing, I'll probably have a better grasp of it next week.
Yeah, and that's true. You know, chapter 2 could fucking blow us away. You know, it could. Who knows? But I'd say a very weak first chapter.